School reunions are weird. They are pretty much the only place where a pony could figure out who did well, who didn't, who was chugging along, who was in prison, pregnant, got married, had a family, was dead. Every single fun little development that could have happened over the course of a decade laid out for every pony to see. Sandbar felt secure with his place in life. A tenure at the School of Friendship and had a diploma with decent grades had set him up with a pretty good scholarship at the University of Canterlot. From there, he went off to the Foreign Service, where he was now spending 8 hours a day exploring Equestria's unique brand of friendship across the globe. As he looked around the room, he saw familiar faces, each of them ushering in a happy little memory of beyond years. There was Ocellus, the little grub now a fully grown queen, with her colorful carapace proudly on display. Near the buffet table was Silverstream, dressed in a formal military uniform, chatting happily and laughing along with Yona, who was adored in the finery of a chief. Sandbar's eyes slipped to the side, noticing a familiar bundle of blue feathers hovering near the edge of the room. Gallius unmistakably, and yet he looked weird, almost smaller, shrinking away from the bulk of conversations, maybe content to etch out an existence of the periphery of festivities. It was like Gallus was more comfortable sharing the night with his punch than any pony else. Maybe he's a little shy? Nah, there's no way. The guy was a lot of things, but shy had never been one of them. Maybe he's planning a little 10th anniversary prank? Far more likely. Sandbar trotted over, flashing a smile as he approached. "What's up, dude? I haven't seen you in ages." Sandbar's smile slipped. As he got closer, he noticed lots of little oddities. Gallus's feather crown was styled in a decidedly feminine fashion. Each of its tips dyed a faint shade of pink. Plus, Gallus didn't seem smaller, he was smaller. His thinner and lankier curves yet again added to the oddness. Was he trying to look like... Finally, Sandbar noticed the makeup, a thin layer mating Gallus's cheeks, feathers, and eye contours. It was neatly done, discreet, and yet still meant to be noticed. Was he? "Oh, hey, Sandbar." A vaguely familiar murmur greeted back. "How have you been?" Was Gallus straining his voice? You look different," Sandbar said, his smile growing unsure. "But good. You look good, I mean." "Well, 10 years can do a lot to a creature," Gallus said with a nod. "You seem to be doing pretty good yourself, too." Sandbar chuckled, taking a sip of his drink. "Yeah, I'm working for the Fornian office these days. How about you?" I'm between jobs." "Didn't like the last one?" Gallus sighed. "Yeah, something like that." I wouldn't worry about it too much," Sandbar said, slapping him on the back. "I'm sure you'll find something soon, Gallus." Gallus visually cringed, his skin partly crawling. "I'm actually going by Gabriella these days," he said, his voice barely louder than a whisper. Sandbar blinked. "Pardon?" Gallus poked the name tag on his chest. It did in fact read Gabriella, and also came with the pastel pink little sticker underneath, which read, she/her. "What's that?" Sandbar asked, getting closer and squinting to read. Gallus flinched away. "What's what? She? Her?" Gallus cocked a brow. "They are pronouns, Sandbar. I know that, but why are they there?" "Are you familiar with the term transgender?" Gallus asked, sighing. Sandbar paused, looking down to read the tag again, and finally glanced up at his friend. The strained voice, makeup, feminine crown of feathers. "No way," Sandbar mumbled, eyes widened. "Is it honestly so hard to believe?" Kinda? Gabriella frowned and pursed her beak. Why? You were always such a dude's dude back in school. I was a miserable twerp who took out her aggressions on any creature around, she grumbled. Sandbar bit his lip. I just assumed that's because you were a griffin. Gabriella snorted. That's part of it, but no, She sighed. A lot has changed in 10 years. Sandbar slid up alongside her, placing a hoof on her shoulder. Do you want to talk about it, dude? Don't call me that, Gabriella growled, her posture tensing. Call you what? Dude. She practically spat the word. Sandbar winced. Sorry. Force of habit. It's... Gabriella deflated a bit. It's... Thank you. So, tell me about... He mentioned towards her. This. What do you want to know? Sandbar shrugged. Everything. That's a pretty big can of worms. Well, alright. How about... Sandbar waved his hoof as if to summon the right words. Okay, tell me this. How did you know? Gabrielle looked at her drink, slowly stirring the bright contents in her little paper cup. Have you ever felt like you were wrong? I mean, yeah. We took classes together. I was wrong, like... He snorted and shook his head. A solid 40% of the time. Gabriella brought the drink to her beak and downed it in one pull. I mean, like, you, yourself, were wrong? Like, you are invalid, fake, incorrect? Not really. Well, I felt that way about myself, and honestly, I had no idea why. I would wake up wrong, go to work wrong, eat wrong. There was this wrongness which seemed to just... She clenched her talons, crushing the little cup as her voice dropped to a more familiar tone. To be this thing that would haunt me forever. Pertain me. That's the right word, I think. She cleared her throat, and suddenly the strained rasp returned. Sorry. No, nothing to be sorry about, Sandbar said. Are you on the hormones? Gabriella chuckled. It was harsh. Mozambique note. Sandbar looked over. What? Sorry, the hormones is such a cis way of putting it. But yes, I'm on the hormones. And are they helping? Sometimes. Maybe. I don't know. I guess that, like, I don't feel as wrong as I did before, but... She growled and threw up a talon. I don't really want to talk about it, dude. Sandbar raised a defensive hoop. No. That is totally understandable. Just know that I'm here for you, Gabriella. Gabriella's posture slackened along a stretched out sigh. Thanks, Sandbar. It's just... I'm used to trying to justify myself to griffins. Hey, ponies are a lot more open-minded about this kind of stuff. Like my cousin's friend's roommate is, he is a girl who wants to be, like, a male? Gabriella snorted. Cousin's friend's roommate? Sounds legit. I swear to Celestia she's real. I'm sure they are, Gabriella grumbled, rolling her eyes. Sandbar held up a hoof. The point is, we aren't going to ostracize you for wanting to be a mare. I am a mare. Sandbar grinned. That's what I said. No, you said wanting to be a mare. Is that... Gabriella crooked slightly forward, eyes cast low. No, it isn't the same thing. Sorry, I'm new to this, he smiled sheepishly. Give me a little bit of time to understand, okay? I'm tired of trying to make creatures understand, Gabriella muttered. There was those hollowness in her eyes. What was that? Sandbar asked. Nothing. Anyways, are the pills helping? Yes. My meds are working. I feel they make me feel better, Gabriella said. her voice shivering with half-hidden uncertainty. She sighed and shook her head. I hate feeling like a freak, Sambar. You're not a freak. I am a freak, Gabriella growled, her wings flaring. I'm a trainee, a trap, a transite. I'm wrong. I was born wrong. Everything about me is wrong, 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 wrong. She huffled, closed her eyes, and covered them with a claw. Every time I think things are getting better, every time I try to put myself out there, I get a nice slap across the face from reality, reminding me that I'm still a dude or a gallus. I don't pass, and I never will. I will just have to get used to the feeling wrong until I decide to finally do the sensible thing and off myself. Sambar went dead silent and stared vacantly ahead, at a loss of words. The whole room was quiet. All eyes locked on Gabriella. Every creature stared at her, each seeming more shocked at the display than the last. I'm sorry, Sambar muttered. Gabriella stormed off towards the entrance. Don't you even worry about it, she rasped. It was a mistake coming here. Sambar galloped after her. No, wait, just give me a second to... Forget about it, Gabriella snarled and placed her telekin against the door. It's water under the bridge. I'll see you again in another decade. She snorted and shook her head. If I even make it that far. As she went to open the door, Sambar placed the hoof against it. It was weak by the Earth Pony standards, but more than enough to hold her at bay. Let me go, Gabriella growled. Not until we talk about this. Gabriella spun around, thrusting a single claw forward and jabbing Sambar roughly in the chest. I don't want to talk about it, she snarled. I'm done with this, with trying to justify myself, and make others understand what I'm going through. They're never going to understand. She waved her talikins in front of Sambar's face. At least not really. They pretend to understand to feel my pain, but you just... Tears twinkled in her eyes and she sighed. You'll never get it. Sambar brushed aside her talikins. Maybe not, but you don't have to justify yourself to me, Gabriella. If you're a hen, then you are a hen, a beautiful hen. He smiled and ran a hoof across her cheeks. Who is apparently really good at makeup. Gabriella warned. My hen friend did it for me. Well then, a hen who has absolutely gorgeous feathers. Also because of my hen friend. Sambar deadpanned. Gabriella smiled sheepishly. Fashion is hard. Sambar shrugged. Still, you pull it off really well. Do you really mean that? Of course I do. Sure, maybe I was a little confused at first, but after getting to appreciate it up close, I can totally tell how much work you have put in. You look fantastic, Gabriella. No, Yes, you do, another voice called forth. Sambar looked over his shoulder and saw Silverstream rushing forward. You are by far the most beautiful griffin I have ever seen, she beamed it. I love what you did with your crown. Like the color, the style, she giggled and shivered. It's just so awesome! Gabrielle sniffled and wiped it at her eyes. You two really? We three think so, another voice jumped in. Sambar noticed Nyonya approaching, but gods, the yak was way bigger than he remembered. Nyonya is yak, and yaks can't lie. You are very beautiful. Gabrielle opened her mouth, only to close it without a word. She tried again, but whatever statement she mouthed preemptively died at the tip of her tongue. Silverstream grinned. This calls for a group hug. Sambar nodded and offered a assured smile. I think it's required according to Headmistress Twilight's rules. Together, the three of them stepped forward, pulling Gabriella into a crushing hug, so they were joined by two others very familiar bodies. For the first time in years, all six were reunited. I love you guys, Gabriella muttered, her ached voice shaking, fitting past her lips that caught in the tears rolling down her cheeks. And familiar chorus promptly chirped back, "We love you too!" The end.